Hello, sir.
Hello.
How are you?
I don't know yet. You're gonna. Well, I don't know because you look like you're gonna yell at
No, I'm not. My
me. Yeah.
mother told me to calm down before I have a stroke.
And she said, "Calm down when you come before me," didn't she? I like your mother.
She told
Because the last couple of times.
Oh, but you know what, Judge Simpson?
Yes, ma'am.
I have so much on my plate and I know what I've done. And when you know what you've done and someone is trying to tell you you didn't do it, I'm like, but here it is. Would you give this to Judge Simpson, please?
Are you just gonna do what she says? I know. I was scared. No, I got you. Okay, what am I looking at?
You're looking at the receipts that I was telling, the money orders that I bought for the rent for October. And all this time I was telling you, someone up in that office took my money orders.
Okay.
I'm trying to.
See, no, right now you're not listening to what
Okay.
your mama told you, right? Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And you have not shown this to council?
No, I didn't show it to anyone, but my mom and you. And you see where it looked like they whited out? You know, Susanna Vera, who is she? Who is she?
Who?
Susanna Vera. If you see on one of those money orders
I do.
that says Susanna Vera, I don't know who she is. And on the other money order, it was made out, crossed everything out, and made out to a roofing company. I don't know nothing about no roofing company. I don't.
So with these money orders, you're saying you put them into.
I put them, I done, if I didn't have time because we don't even know when the office is open anymore. I know, but you know what, sir?
Musa,
Okay,
take it down.
okay.
You are not gonna make it through this hearing without. If you need to yell at me. I can take it.
No,
just go ahead and yell at me. People do all day.
Well,
doesn't bother me. I take the robe off, go home. I'm fine.
Oh no. But what I'm trying to say, sir, if you look at it, both of them, it seems like somebody whited out. I'm shutting up.
You're not telling me the truth on that. Because you're gonna say so. You're just gonna be quiet for right now.
Be quiet.
Okay. All right.
Turn my head. Be quiet.
Ms. Dornbush, I don't. You haven't seen these, and
I have not, Your Honor, and just giving Ms. Reeves the benefit of not seeing them, and that what she's brought to the court is what I think it is. I don't think there's any dispute that Ms. Reeves purchased money orders, but even based on that, there's also no dispute that my client didn't receive that money either. And so I know there's a process.
I absolutely agree with you on both those points, unless, and I don't want to.
What's the name of the roofing company, Your Honor? I do not know a Susanna Vera at the Arbor Woods office. I do not believe that individual is an employee there.
It says LLB Soffit and Gutter Seals, maybe, or.
And Your Honor, if the court's able to scan those over to me, I'm happy to review those.
Yeah, we will. I was going to do that.
In the interim, I know MoneyGram has a procedure for Ms. Reeves to dispute that the payee is the intended payee and to request that they be reissued to the intended payee. And I don't necessarily have an objection to continuing this court case and having her pay the ongoing charges while those disputed amounts are hopefully reissued by MoneyGram.
Yeah, I don't know if the problem is the last paragraph and you'll see it when it says that they're saying after the purchase of the money order, MoneyGram is not responsible for the acts of purchaser fees and others which may result in a dispute. Confirmation of a cash.
And I think that's for the intended payee. If there's a dispute between the purchaser of the money order, Ms. Reeves, and her intended payee, Arbor Woods. But here, those individuals that cashed those money orders were not her intended payee. Ms. Reeves was certainly not.
No, I agree with you.
Or the roofing company.
Well, I'll let you read it. I read what they're trying to say a little bit differently. I thought she was going to be quiet. No, go ahead.
Because, sir, she keeps saying that I purchased these money orders.
Hold on. Let me stop you.
Okay.
Ms. Dornbush is representing her client.
Yeah.
She's not trying to make an accusation necessarily against you. What she said at the very beginning is absolutely true, and it's something I agree with. I believe that both things can be true here. I think you dropped these off. Somebody got them, right? So what you tried to do didn't happen. What the landlord wants is everything paid. That didn't happen. That's really all she's saying. They didn't get the money and it didn't go to your account. Okay? All right. Did that calm you down at all?
No.
Okay. That's all I got. Can we scan those?
Because
yes, ma'am.
if you look at it, it looked like someone whited out.
No, I see what you're saying. The problem is, I don't know. You may be saying that it may be somebody that's affiliated with the landlord.
It is.
Who?
I can't say her name because she was the only one working up in the office. Here I am.
Okay.
I've been putting
hold on.
Your Honor, if Miss Reeves has a belief on who it is, I would request that she provide me that information so I can discuss it with my client. But as of now, I have no reason to believe that an Arbor Woods employee took her money.
She doesn't even work there no more. Her name is Zoe.
Okay, hold on. Just here's what I want you to do.
What?
Okay. First thing I want you to do is you got to take your mother's advice. You need to calm down. Seriously.
I'm about to have a heart attack.
Yeah, I know. But that's what you're doing because you need to calm down. There's not much that can be resolved. I'm going to put this over a week. What I want you to do so that somebody's name isn't up there, I want you to call Ms. Dornbush's office.
Call whose office? This lady's office?
Yes.
I don't have her number.
Okay, it's on your paperwork. We'll get you a number.
Thank you.
Call her.
Yeah.
And ma'am, I'm just gonna say this. She's willing to take the name. She may not be able to get to an answer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Even after she talks to her client, she may not be able to get to an answer. But one of the things that I expect from all people is that you treat people with respect.
Yeah.
So when you call her, I don't want any of this.
Yeah.
If I get a report of any of this, I am not going to be happy.
I know.
She wants to take that. She doesn't even have to do that.
No, she doesn't.
She is offered to do that so she can talk it over with her clients.
Okay.
About it. Okay?
Okay.
So you treat her right.
I will.
And I know that she will treat you right.
I will.
Okay? Yeah, that doesn't mean the people have to disagree.
Yeah. Can I say something else?
I cannot stop you. I haven't been able to stop you yet. Yeah, go ahead.
If you look at my pay log, I have never been late for my rent.
That is about the 20th time you have told me that.
I know.
Between the times you've been here.
I know.
Everybody can see that.
Okay, Judge Simpson. My mama told me to just behave myself in here today.
And do you think you did that?
Yeah,
No.
okay.
January 31st, 2025. What time? 1 p.m.
1 p.m. Okay,
I'll be waiting with bells on. All
Okay.
right.
okay, am I gonna need those papers here?
Oh, did you make me a copy? Or did you give me back?
I gave,
gave you back the original, but I have scanned the copy. I can print and file.
Okay. Let's get those back.
I'm nervous.
You're nervous?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell. All right. You have a good weekend.
You too,
All
Judge
right.
Simpson. And I look forward to seeing you on the 31st.
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. We, the unwilling, led by the unknowing, are doing the impossible for the ungrateful. We have done so much for so long with so little. We are now qualified to do anything with nothing.
I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to participate in this kind of behavior.
24 CR 011671, State of Texas versus Jamal Ricardo Fisher. If I could have parties announced for the record for the state.
For the state of Texas.
Defense.
Attorney Albert Osvaldo for Mr. Fisher.
And are you Mr. Fisher?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all discovery?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you review it with your client?
I did.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Ms. Abrams, this is an application. Did you review the application for deferred adjudication with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you review the true bill of indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
I do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
No, Your Honor, proceeding on count 2. Waive count 1.
Any objection to the waivers?
No objections, Your Honor.
Did you review the court admonishments with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
You're charged with injury to the elderly or disabled with intentional bodily injury. That's a third-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent. By entering this plea, you are giving up those rights. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 10 years in the prison and up to $10,000 fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I do, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Fisher, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, the state is proceeding on count 2. There's a $1,500 fine. State recommends deferred adjudication. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. There's to be no contact with the complainant and a mental health evaluation. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea?
It is, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea? Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, are there any such motions?
None, Your Honor.
Outside the agreement, the state is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 4 years. There be 60 hours community service restitution, anger management, MRT, and follow all recommendations from the mental health evaluation in TAP. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offense as charged in count 2, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence.
The defense state interest cases be withdrawn.
No objections, Your Honor.
All right, did you review the waiver and consent to stipulations of testimony and stipulations with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports? But most importantly, there'll be no live testimony. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence state's exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. After reviewing state's exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. Court will defer finding of guilt as you applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
We are, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
We're asking that you follow the plea bargain agreement, Your Honor. My client's been in custody since the offense date back in August of 2024. He's had an opportunity to think about, why he's here today and actually accept responsibility. He understands that, if granted the application for probation, how daunting that it may be, but in speaking to him, he's ready to move on with his life and make a difference. He understands, what he did was wrong. And I believe he has something to tell you, Judge. If he can.
Oh, if you have something you wish to tell me, I'll place you under oath.
I'm sure.
All right, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
My name is Jamal Ricardo Fisher.
All right, what do you wish to say?
Miss Boyd, I can tell, even taking the glasses off, I'm nearsighted. Both of you and I have these little scars right here from our glasses. And I was listening to you earlier. Without my glasses on, I can barely see you. 6 months ago, on August 26th, I reacted to what I felt had been 2 years of a nightmare. I have lived with my parents for 38 years, and they're the best things that have ever happened to me. I couldn't see the forest through the trees because what was happening to me had never happened before in my life. That day, I reacted in a horrible way towards my father because I lost my cool and I lost my power. The last 6 months of my life have been the best 6 months of my life because I've gotten in touch with myself and I've remembered a very important thing, that no matter what I'm going through, and no matter what anyone is going through, how I choose to react to it is completely and totally up to me. And these days, I choose happiness. I cry a lot because it's been a long 6 months. And the last 2 or 3 of them, I haven't spoken to my family. Well, last 6, I haven't talked to my dad. Last 2 or 3, I haven't talked to my mom. And I've lived with them for the entire 38 years of my life. What happened to me didn't just happen to me, it happened to us. But my parents were never to blame. And I couldn't see that because of, lack of communication, being a 38-year-old and immature in some parts. But I'm glad to be before you today. And I when I say that the last 6 months have been the best 6 months of my life, I don't intend or want to be back in jail. But it was time that I needed to listen to myself. It was time I needed to listen to God. It was time I needed to really reflect, not just on, the time in here, but the last 38 years of my life. And I'm happy standing before you and my parents today, knowing that God gave me a reason for existing, and it's to bring happiness to myself, my family, and anyone else that I encounter. And no matter what I'm going through in life, no matter how hard it is, I don't have to not be happy. And I surely don't have to take my unhappiness in a moment out on someone, especially not my dad.
Any questions? Anything
For the
else?
bench, Your Honor.
So here's my question. One, it appears that you're not going to be allowed to live with your parents. So why were you, as a 38-year-old, living with them in the first place?
Well, over a decade ago, I'll admit that I was a drug addict, and my parents were enablers. They loved me as much as a parent could love their child, and then some. And so they didn't want to kick me out on the street. They didn't want to, despite me stealing, thieving, and whatnot. That was not the case over the last 2 years. Over the last 2 years, I have done anything and everything I could to get a job. Actually, let me take that back. At the beginning of those 2 years, I was completely sober. In a 2-week span, I had gotten off of all pharmaceutical medications. I decided I no longer wanted to smoke cigarettes, which I had been doing since I was legally allowed to smoke cigarettes, and I no longer wanted to use drugs. And I kept that promise to myself for nearly a year. I was racially profiled and wrongly terminated from my job, fell off that horse, but I remained sober. I didn't smoke cigarettes, and I just decided to get back on that horse. Only I didn't get back on it. After a month of not having any work, I was fine. After 3 months of not having any work, not so much. After 6 months of not having any work, of having my parents' Wi-Fi hacked, my cell phone hacked, of having people whose identities I still don't know listen on my phone calls, things were getting testy.
So let me ask you this.
Yes, ma'am.
Your prescribed medications, what were they for?
When I was 21, I was a full-blown heroin addict, and I was depressed because I was a full-blown heroin addict. I'd swallowed 1,300 milligram trazodones because I was tired of my life. I was hospitalized off of Floyd Curl for 7 days, and part of my discharge paperwork was to go see.
Okay, here's the thing. I need you to slow down because the court reporter has to take down
I
everything.
apologize. I was hospitalized up to the hospital of Floyd Curl, because Methodist. Part of my discharge paperwork was to see this man, his name was Dr. Moody, not making that up. He talked to me for 35 minutes and said that I had bipolar 2 disorder, prescribed me lithium and clonazepam, and I was 21, max 22. At the time, because I was raised to respect my elders and because I was in the hands of a doctor, I just kind of said, okay. I was never bipolar. I never had bipolar 1, never had bipolar 2, but for over a decade, I kept taking clonazepam. Lithium I got off within about 2 years. But I never needed that medication. I never needed lithium. And it took my ex, who I was then with, to wake me up to the fact that I didn't need to be on that benzo.
And do you have any children?
No, ma'am, I wish I did.
Okay. All right, any other questions?
No other questions.
All right. So, is his father here?
Oh, I think you
All right, if we can have his father come up, please.
gonna step aside.
Yes.
So I think what happens is they make a list of all the excuses they can use. This guy just grabbed the list and used them all. He didn't know he was supposed to pick out like 3 of them. So he just listed everything on it. But here's the dad coming up. The dad's got some good answers, but in the end, it lets you know he's enabling, and that's part of the problem here. But you're 38, still living at home. I love my kids, but they got to go.
So, could you raise your right hand for me, please?
Yes,
Do
ma'am.
you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
James Henry Fisher.
All right. So both parties have agreed for your son to have probation.
Yes, ma'am.
And part of my job is to put in place conditions that will help him be rehabilitated and help him with whatever issues he may have.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't do cookie cutter probations. Everybody doesn't receive the same conditions. So what is it you think he needs? Is there some mental health issues going on here?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
When he's talking about being diagnosed with bipolar, he was diagnosed, that's true. And when he says his ex convinced him that he wasn't bipolar and he quit taking the medications, mom goes through mood swings.
Mhm.
And like I said, I'm not a physician, but the physician said he was bipolar.
Okay.
But a friend or his ex said he wasn't. So he decided to go with what the friend of the ex said.
Mhm.
And when I said mood swings, it's 1 minute he's happy and up and everything's great. The next minute, the world is crumbling. And then there's an anger part of that. Okay. And my wife and I have been dealing with that most of his adult life. He has a pleasant personality, but like I said, for me, on the 26th of August, Jamal beat me with a metal cane, like I was a piece of meat.
Mhm.
Okay. And broke into the house, did a whole bunch of negative stuff that you all have records for. I never understood why. Today, I don't understand why.
Mhm.
Okay. But some of the same things that he's saying to you, as far as the ex convinces him not to take the medication and him not being on medication. And I'm not a doctor, but like when he was on the medication, it seemed like it was happening. Okay. He has had an issue with maintaining jobs. He told me and my wife that we had aliens in my backyard. The Masons was after him. My Wi-Fi had been hacked and all this other stuff. Now, I don't know if the Wi-Fi was hacked or not. It could be because it happens all the time. But as far as some of this other stuff, but there's Masonic lodge down from my house.
Mhm.
He talked about going down there blowing up the lodge. And I'm like, come on, those folks aren't messing with you. Okay. But he had a couple of pictures on his phone where he felt that people were following him and this type of stuff. And to me, that was all the mental part. Like I said, I'm not a doctor. I'm not saying I'm correct, but he just made me feel that way.
So let me ask you, do you think it would help him? Because they do have placement in a mental facility
Mhm.
to make sure that he is on his medications to make sure he has a case manager.
Mhm.
Do you think that's what he needs and that's what would help him?
Yes, ma'am. I mean, when I talked to the DA's Mrs. Jones this morning, and she was talking about what could happen like, as far as 2 to 10 years of type of stuff. And I told her that if Jamal went to jail for 10 years, that's still not going to help him because he has mental issues, in my opinion. So my focus is, even though he assaulted me, is he's my son. I love him. I love him till I leave this earth. But he actually needs some help. Okay. And he doesn't understand that or doesn't see that. You can ask my wife. She's here. And we've been dealing with him for 30 years. And
So I will tell you what my plan is with
Yes, ma'am.
conditions
Mhm.
is to get him help for mental health issues. The question is whether or not you want to have phone contact, but because before he has in-person contact with you outside of court settings,
Mhm.
I like to start people off slow.
Right.
So are you okay with him speaking to you just by phone or speaking to your wife by phone?
He talks to her now.
Okay,
Okay. So he hasn't talked to me since the 26th of August. And I don't have an issue with that. Okay.
all right. So what I can tell you is I'll start off with the contact will only be by phone or either if you all want to do it by Zoom, but there'll be no in-person contact.
Mhm.
And once a doctor or therapist or probation says to me that it will be safe for him to have in-person contact with his parents, and you all are okay with that, then I'll strongly consider his having in-person contact.
Okay.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Is there anything else I need to know about your son?
Other than that, like I said, I don't know what made him do what he did. His whole adult life or his whole life, we've been trying to just be decent parents. And I got 4 kids.
Mhm.
And the only time I've been in a courtroom like this was with Jamal. Okay, several years ago, same thing. Okay, so, and that's what I was telling the attorney. I don't know what will help him. I hope this is the last time that I have to come into a courtroom.
Well,
on a
I will
negative
tell you,
situation
in
with
my experience, a lot of mental health issues for males happen around the 18-year mark. For females, sometimes it's a little bit later. Sometimes it's mid-20s for females, but usually for males, the mental health issues, if they happen, usually around the 18-year mark. And when I say mental health issues, I don't mean mental health based upon traumatic things that happen. I mean the schizophrenia, the bipolar, that type of thing. All right. Thank you so much.
Sure, thank you.
All right, I'm gonna stop and say thank you, Biggin, for a raid. Y'all did last night, and it made the show really great. So thank you guys so much. Give it a second for the folks to get back in here. Thank you. I really appreciate that, Biggin, and I'm gonna say Biggin and family. So because y'all pretty much family over there too. So thank you so much. We're gonna jump back into it, but I told myself I'd say thank you more often. So thank you so much, Biggin.
All right. This is what the court is going to do. There's a $1,500 fine that will be probated. The court will sentence you to 4 years deferred adjudication. If you complete everything early, the court will consider early termination. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. There's to be regular random UAs. How far did you go in school?
I completed trade school for welding, got my combination welder certification, and I also got my CDL.
All right, 100 hours of community service restitution. Probation, if he actually uses his CDL, then the court will consider waiving 50 of those hours. There is to be an affirmative finding of family violence. There's to be no in-person contact with the complainant or Maytum Circle, MAYTUM Circle. All right. Probation. Let's do a referral to felony drug court and let them know it's for dual diagnosis. And when felony drug court comes to speak to you, you need to let them know about the heroin use. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And then there is going to be a MIC evaluation and DRF. That's to be in custody. TAP evaluation in custody. Follow all recommendations.
Yes, Michael. Yes, Michael, I got it. That's how I knew the raid came over. I got my thumbs down. So as long as I get that, I know the raid came over and life is good. So thank you guys again. Thank you, Biggins group for raiding. We're going to jump over to Thurston County. Thurston County had a neat protection order ones the other day, and I just got around to watching it, and they got two of them that was really good, so we're going to throw that on. Let's start with one now.
Michaela Michael and Kira Little.
I want to make sure I say thank you to all the super chats, and there's Snoopy, Fletcher Boy, Fozzie, Snoopy, Fletcher Boy again, and DSN. Thank you guys so much. We certainly appreciate everybody in the chat, and we appreciate you guys being here and supporting the show. And thank you so much. Make sure to thank the moderators. You know, they do a lot of work to get rid of some of the garbage, and we got to make sure we keep them on their toes. So let's jump into this one. This is a good one.
If you'd stand, please, and if you both raise your right hands for me. Swear the testimony in this case to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir. I swear.
You may be seated. All right. The allegation by Ms. Michael is that Ms. Little, who she says is her father's stepbrother's girlfriend or was, has been posting about Ms. Michael's 1-year-old daughter. And I saw something in there about had threatened to choke her. I think Ms. Michael, not the daughter. Mr. Wick, Sarshak, if you want to take over with any questions you have for your client.
Thank you, Your Honor. First, I would like just to explain the case a little bit further and most likely rely on the pleadings. Ms. Little, who's present in court, has repeatedly made threats and potentially has acted on those threats to post photos of Ms. Michael's baby to Twitter. Saying things such as, "The Twitter men, thank you for your child's sacrifice," threatening to post things so that pedophiles on Twitter can enjoy the photos. She also texted things such as, "Posting your child for the weirdos. Don't be weird next time." Ms. Michael repeatedly told Ms. Little to stop, saying she would be going to the police, telling her no, and saying that she would see her in court, asking her to stop, blocking all of her social media accounts until most recently, Ms. Michael created new accounts and continued to contact her as recently as December 14th, just 3 days before Ms. Michael filed this petition. Ms. Michael has provided the court with...
What was the nature of that contact on the 14th?
That was a social media contact on, I'm not sure on what account, a new Snapchat account. Miss Michael did not open that message because she doesn't have her friended. She could just see it was an account with her name. And that account was immediately blocked, and Miss Michael did not engage with that. There was contact on the 25th of November. And the heart of it is that Ms. Michael has asked her to stop this. Ms. Little has continued to engage, making very serious threats to post photos of a very young child to Twitter for the purpose of pedophiles enjoying them. And that really fits squarely within the definition of unlawful harassment. Clearly, that is a course of conduct. She did it multiple times over multiple days, and seriously harasses and is alarming to a mother, and serves no legitimate or lawful purpose. I don't think anybody would be okay with somebody posting photos of a 1-year-old baby to Twitter. And so that has caused Miss Michael serious emotional distress, to the extent that she thought she needed to go to court to get the conduct to stop, because saying no didn't work, saying she would call the police didn't work, saying she was going to go to court did not stop the conduct. She's come here, and since then, since filing this case, there hasn't been any conduct. So the purpose of the protection order statute has been working, and Ms. Michael respectfully requests to enter a protection order so this conduct stops and they have no further contact.
All right, thank you. Ms. Michael, you're the one under oath. Is there anything inaccurate in what Mr. Wicks-Arshak said, or are those all facts as you know them?
As I know, that's all true.
Thank you. Ms. Little, go ahead.
So I tried to do everything online, but I have like over 66 screenshots and multiple screen recordings of FaceTime calls. I couldn't figure out. I tried to send it a week ago and found out
Okay,
it wasn't valid.
just explain to me.
So I have an attorney. He told me I should probably come in today without him to get this done. I have all the proof and evidence here. The fact that she messaged me after the December 27th when she originally filed for her stuff, and then also the fact that she's the one who no caller ID'd me and called me throughout the night, and all I did was finally respond to her. And I did try to press charges on her when she showed up at my house while I was home alone to fight me, and it was not consensual. And we
Okay,
are in
so
the process of
explain to me what the posting of her daughter's photos is about.
Okay, I give you full right to go through my phone and my screenshots that I have here in my phone. You can see on Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, and Facebook, I have not posted anything of her and her child. And then here are all the screenshots starting of the conversations of when she first contacts me that night because she wanted me to see her at a strip club with Marcus Morales, which is when she no caller ID'd me. Would you like the screenshots of the calls?
Just explain your side of the story.
Okay. My side of the story is I originally got a no contact order on Marcus Morales, who's not related to her, has been my boyfriend since the 5th grade. We're 19 now. It got super messy and abusive, and then I made it to where he could write letters to me in the no contact order because I was all sentimental, and he lied and said that we were gonna go to therapy and this and that, and I got it all set up, and then he chose not to, and then I got videos of him at a strip club and other stuff, and so my mom told me that I should just drop it and leave them both alone. And the whole situation that happened is because after going to the strip club around 4 a.m., she continued to keep harassing me and calling me, as I have proof, and proceeding to keep talking shit. So I started to scream.
Let's watch your language.
Proceeded to keep talking very irrationally to me about situations that didn't involve me. So I started screen recording this FaceTime, and it goes from her talking to me about stuff to her bringing her child into the conversation, talking about how you're just mad that Marcus Morales loves my kid more than you, and telling her about how this is really inappropriate, this is child abuse, like you're waking your kid up at 4 a.m. just to talk to me like this and everything else. You can see me screenshotting in the like screen recording. I'm telling her like I am screenshotting right now, like this is proof and evidence, like I will be sending this to your baby daddy, and because this is really inappropriate, I do not think that you should be bringing children into this. And I've told her multiple times that if she keeps having her friends contact me and if she keeps contacting me, as much as I really do not want to make Marcus upset and continue the Marcus drama, that I will just come out with all of my information. When I say post it, I mean post the years and years of screenshots that I have of absolutely everything. She has showed up to my house and she has egged my house. She has threatened to kill my grandma. I have screenshots. Before I ever brought up her child, she threatened to kill my grandma. She has showed up to fight me. And the only reason why I had to choke her is because she came back again for round 2. Even it's a huge situation. I really would like to wait for my attorney. And I have over 66 screenshots here. And I'm hoping to get help out there to get the screen recording sent to you via email.
Okay, so you didn't ask me to wait for your attorney. Is your attorney coming today?
Oh, no, I'm just in the process of getting it set up. He is busy today, but I'm hoping by then he wants me to get the video sent in to you guys so that way we can keep proceeding. So that way I have proof that,
Is he gonna, have you hired him? Is he gonna represent you in court?
no, I'm in
Or
the
he's-
process of hiring him. I just met with him with my dad. This has been like a big thing. I tried to do it all online by myself and none of it went through accurately and I didn't do any of it correctly, so I want to go back to doing it on paper. I even printed everything out with color.
Who's your attorney?
Like I told you, I can ask my dad. I forgot my phone in the car. I went to 2 different wrong courthouses. I went to
Okay,
the
so you don't know who your attorney
I
is?
don't. I wish I had my phone. I left it in the car when I originally went to the whole courthouse on the other side, on the family court or whatever. And I had to take the bus over here because I forgot my phone and I couldn't Uber here. I'm sorry.
Okay, because I don't have any, any notice of appearance from an attorney on your behalf.
That's what I was supposed to come and do this morning with my phone. I was supposed to come and turn all of these.
No, the
in.
attorney is supposed to do something. If the attorney is going to represent you, the attorney is supposed to file something.
I only just got to talk to an attorney 2 days ago with my father. He is from Seattle. He works in assisted living. He works with the machines and stuff. He doesn't have very much time, but he has been helping me with this because I couldn't.
All right, so
see him.
he's helping you with it, but you're not expecting him to appear to represent you in court. That's, you have to hire him to do that.
Oh, no, I'm talking about my
Okay.
father is the one getting me in contact with this attorney. and
Okay,
everything.
so to this point, you don't have an attorney.
I do not, but if you would give me one more extension, I do have an attorney I'm in contact with that I'm ready to hire, and I am here with all my screenshots to turn them in and figure out how to send my screen recording of all of the calls that she sent me via email, because I do not know how to do that on my own. I tried to go through the papers that were given to me and.
Okay, so the purpose of this is you want me to issue an order against Ms. Michael not to have contact with you? Is that what
I
you're
would
talking to
even
me
be
about?
Perfectly fine with the fact if we could do a, what is it called, when we're both equally liable of harassment at this point, to where I am a 100-pound girl who does need to be able to have a pocket knife or something on her, because I do have to take the bus sometimes, because I can prove with evidence that it's been equal harassment, that she's tried to fight me over the years, and now that I have finally said something back to her, she takes me to court. And I'm fully willing to be held liable for the stuff I said. I'm just really hoping that she can be held liable for everything that she's done as well.
Okay, so what you're asking is you want your own protection order against Ms. Michael.
Or even for it to just be equal, for both of us just to choose to say separate and for it to be a agreed upon separation order. I don't care as long as both of us are held accountable.
And Ms. Michael, when was the last time that Ms. Little posted anything in a public space about your child?
Your Honor, she's been blocked for a long time now, so I wouldn't have any. The last time that she said she was gonna post anything about my child was either the 25th or the 27th, the last time that she had contact with my.
Of what month?
November, Your Honor.
Okay, well, let's have Ms. Michael. I need to take the testimony. Okay. And Ms. Michael, Ms. Little said that you reached out to her after the order was filed. Is that
Yeah,
accurate?
that's not true.
And Mr. Wicks, Arshak, do you have any questions for Ms. Little?
Your Honor, I don't think that would be necessary at this time. I think she accepted that she should be liable for the conduct she has done. And I think her testimony and the pleadings support a finding for a protection order. Ms. Michael has proven by a preponderance of the evidence that Ms. Little has engaged in unlawful harassment with a extensive pattern of conduct, threatening to post photos of her children to Twitter of her child. And Ms. Michael simply wants this conduct to stop.
So Ms. Little, you have a whole bunch of material,
Yeah.
which I can't look at because,
Sadly, I haven't been able to try to do it.
no, I know, you've explained that to me. Okay, so here's my question. It doesn't sound like you are denying the allegation, which is there was this, you were mad and,
I am
okay,
denying-
hold on, don't interrupt me. Just let me ask the question, then you just answer the question. Don't get into everything else. My question is, what is being alleged by Ms. Michael is that in spite of two of you going back and forth and having your prior fights and all that, is that you did make these comments about, well, if you keep this up, I'm gonna post photos of your daughter and, you know, see how the pedophiles react to that, so on and so forth. Did that happen?
I do deny that. I never used the word pedophile, and
What
I
did
said,
you say?
I do have all of that.
You
here.
just tell me, what did you say?
Like, yes, okay, sorry, I have anxiety. Like I said, take me to court. I have years and years of screenshots and evidence on the market, not leaving me alone, being abusive.
No, that's not what I'm asking you. I'm asking you, what did you say when you were saying you were going to post photos of her daughter?
Being crazy, I understand. So, hold up, it's in this one.
So all you single guys out there, understand that this lady is crazy, but you do not want to date her. She will take too many screenshots. She will catch you up in it. So y'all stay away from this one. She's a crazy one.
Okay, I said posting your child on TikTok is no different than me screen recording. She said, I'm going to the police. I said, you chose to wake up your child after calling me that night to go out and sort of problem. She said, are you kidding, Kara? I said, knowing that your daughter had went through this, you would probably stand up and do the same. So if I could put all the screenshots together, I'm talking about the fact that please leave me out of the situation.
No, I know that's not what I'm asking. Tell me, she said that you had messaged her that you were going to post photos of her daughter online. Are you denying that you ever said anything like that?
I am not denying that I didn't say I was going to post them online, but I said I was going to post the videos of her calling me, harassing me online. I never mentioned predators. I just said if she kept harassing me, that I was going to post it on Twitter and Facebook because I know her family. The screenshots and the screen recordings of her calling and harassing me and waking up her child in the middle of the night.
That doesn't tell me anything about photos of a child.
The photos of the child is a screen recording that I took when she FaceTimed me. She FaceTimed me. It's a screen recording I took. I didn't go on her Instagram page and steal any photos. She harassed me, no caller ID'd me throughout the night. I finally answered because I couldn't keep denying it the whole night. I had to turn off my phone, accidentally answered. This is when this happened. I didn't go out of my way to find photos of a child. It was a screen recording. This was me trying to protect myself because she had been harassing me.
Ms. Michael, is that how it went?
She did say that she was going to be posting photos of my child on Twitter for pedophiles to masturbate to. That's what she said. I have that the screenshots in my declaration. But yeah.
Yep. Your Honor, that would be exhibit 3 and 4 of her declaration with the screenshots. And I can read those if you'd like.
I'll take a look at them. Thank you. Deserve an order. Right now I'm just talking about you did that.
I did say that. I did it.
Okay, thank you. And you also said the Twitterman, thank you for your child sacrifice.
Bring up predators or
Okay.
Masturbation.
Okay, you did say the Twitterman,
They
thank you
said I
for your
brought up
child.
predators and masturbation.
Okay, that's not my question to you. Correct? You said that. Okay, thank you. Anything you want to say on that request?
Yes, Your Honor. we're here on Ms. Michael's request. I understand Ms. Little has made that request today, but if we look at these text messages, the back and forth is fairly clear that after she makes these obscene threats to post the photos to Twitter, there's a response saying, "I'll see you in court," or "I'm going to call the police." Very short responses followed by a barrage of text messages making these types of threats. Miss Michael has been very clear throughout it to stop, saying no, saying you're going to jail, saying I'm going to call the police, saying I'm reporting you to the police, keep my kid out of your phone and your mouth, saying I'll see you in court. I think any reasonable person would get the picture there to stop engaging, and Miss Little did not stop engaging. And that's why Ms. Michael is here today. She has not engaged with her since filing this or through any of this process. And a mutual no contact order is not necessary because Ms. Michael has had no continued engagement with Ms. Little. Ms. Michael simply is asking this court to stop any form of contact between Ms. Little and herself.
Thank you. On these screenshots of the texts I've seen back and that there is a back and forth between Ms. Little and Ms. Michael. And those two have been at each other. But the basis of me entering the order today are the comments that Ms. Little made about basically using Ms. Michael's child as a pawn in this process. So that's the basis for me entering the order. I understand that there was a going back and forth. I'm not going to hear anymore. I'm not going to hear anymore. Just thank you. So I am going to enter the order. Ms. Michael, the order is in effect for 1 year from today's date. If you wish it renewed, you'll have to come back to court and make that request. Ms. Little, if you wish an order for yourself, you'll have to make a file and reschedule a hearing.
Would be considered an order. Who would I go to prove the fact that she set me up with the own proof and evidence of her kid calling me with it? Is there, would it be, or would it be
I'm not going to,
defamation?
you're going to have to, if you have the advice of counsel, you can talk to your attorney. But we'll give you a copy of what I've just signed. You're not to have any contact with Ms. Michael, go within 1,000 feet of her or her child. And we'll give you a copy of that order. And Mr. Adams Wischak, that order will be in Ms. Michael's file, District Court.
Where do I get it from?
Just sit tight. We're going to get you a copy.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good day.
Thank you so much, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
All right, so Michaela and the lawyer won. Thank goodness. You're right, Allie. This is such a Washington State case. In Florida, these two women would have been fighting out in the street, and the deputies would have brought them to court. In Washington, they bring themselves to court. So it is amazing to me how nice these people are as they drive each other crazy. I've never been able to figure it out, but Washington and especially Thurston County always delivers. So here's another one. This is of that. As Jennifer mentioned it, the podcasting king there in the bottom corner. This is him and a girl that he was interested in, and he just simply couldn't get a hint. And you couldn't look at that picture and tell he's that kind of guy, but you know, it shows on this one.
Thank you. If you would both raise your right hands for me. Swear the testimony in this case will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Ionescu, I need to hear from you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Very familiar with Ms. Berglund's complaints or allegations? Because we previously had a hearing, it was at which Mr. Ianashku was not present. He has subsequently been served as present today. And what I've seen from the evidence submitted by Ms. Berglund is that she's repeatedly telling Mr. Ianashku to stop contacting her, and every time she does, he uses that as an he then responds and frequently uses his state of mind as a reason for why he's continuing to respond. Mr. Ianashku?
Yes, Your Honor.
You in Tennessee? That's a question. Are you in Tennessee?
Yeah. Yes, I'm in Tennessee. Yes.
Okay. You have, I'm pretty familiar with Ms. Berglund's case, so go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So first of all, there's a couple of blatantly false accusations here in this report that I'd like to cover. But first, I want to start with an apology. No,
you're not speaking to her. This is not an opportunity. You are just addressing me on the legal issue of whether you have engaged in harassment. This isn't an opportunity to have any relationship with Ms. Berglund. So speak as to that issue.
Right. I didn't think I was harassing her. I thought she welcomed most of my advances. I believed it at the time simply because, well, first of all, let me just say, she claims here that I went on her military base and that I tried to contact her and that I was hanging out in the area. Okay, that is a completely false claim. And I want to make this clear. I never stalked her. Okay, I never went out of my way to hang out where she might be or anything of that nature. Okay, that is a completely false accusation. Okay. Now, here in her testimony, she claims that that she told me repeatedly to stop over and over and over again. Your Honor, that's simply not true. Okay, it's not true. I sent her over 115 emails in total. Okay, she told me to stop one time. Okay, around email number 63. Okay, now she was firm in her response. I will acknowledge that. Okay, but Your Honor, I'm a hopeless romantic. Okay, it's going to take more than one response to get me to stop.
You were told to stop. You can explain to me why you didn't stop. You said you're a hopeless romantic. Okay, go ahead.
Well, yes, but the reason I didn't stop is for two reasons. First of all, okay, I continued sending her emails, but I also continued sending her money. Okay. I sent her financial compensation. And if you read the entire email thread, I don't know, did she submit like all of the emails or just samples from the emails?
How would I know? I have emails here and messages.
Okay. Well, that's fine. The point is that I have no interest in submitting all of it because there's a lot of stuff there that's personal and deeply intimate. There was sort of an implied agreement between us. Okay. She's my muse. Okay. She inspires my work. I've explained this to her over and over and over again. And I was sending her money in exchange for the implied muse services. And if you really like read the chain of events that happened, and it's all very well documented in those emails, okay, Miss Berglund accepted, I don't see any complaints about all the money that I sent her, but I can also show from the record, not only did she accept financial compensation for implied muse services, she also actively participated in rendering of muse services by posting photos on a social media account that are consistent with the content described in the emails. Okay. So she was cooperating. Yes. After she told me to stop, she was like actively cooperating. Now, I understand what happened at one point. I went too far and I acknowledge that. Okay. I got a little carried away with fantasies. It's true. Okay. But there was a point after she asked me to stop where she seemed to me to cooperate with the implied agreement that we had entered.
So I'll quote you, I have this old school warrior conquer through persistence, overcome all obstacles mentality when I really, really want something.
Yes, this is true.
Yeah. And you said, I don't know why I keep beating this dead horse. It's time to move on. But, and then you have paragraphs after that where you recognize what you're doing. Then you say, listen, I've been extremely unprofessional. It's very inappropriate, but I will continue my conversation. So, and I'm looking at a prior email which says in all caps, leave me alone. It doesn't say, explain to me why you want to keep talking to me. It says, leave me alone.
Yes, but Your Honor, in the emails that followed, I promised her that she's inspired ideas that are gonna make millions of dollars. And I offered to share my wealth with her, and she seemed like open to that suggestion at one point. Okay. Now, at some point, I got a little carried away. It's true. I went a little too far. Okay. But the thing is, if you read the email chain, I told her over and over and over and over again, I said, if this bothers you, if any of this is like, you want me to stop, simply reply with the word stop. Okay. That's all she had to do was to say stop. And yes, I kind of pushed her because I was trying to provoke a reaction from her. I was not expecting this. I was expecting her to reply via email with a simple word, right? Because any normal woman, she's so stubborn. Like any normal woman would have like just replied via email. She wouldn't have been go to this extent. This is absurd, in my opinion.
And so I found it interesting that after you found out that being in Tennessee wasn't going to be the preventive measure to keep Ms. Berglund from seeking this order, when the sheriff showed up at your parents' house to serve you, you then responded by once again sending a rather extensive email to Ms. Berglund. After you already knew she'd taken legal action to get you to stop, you decided you needed to weigh in one more time, saying, okay, this will be the last time I do it. The last time I disregard your prior request will be this one. And you said, technically, I haven't done anything wrong because I wasn't served. I wasn't there. So sort of like, nah, 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 nah. Yeah.
Well, I meant what I said. I'm moving on. I have no interest.
All right, that's a good thing.
In her anymore. And I want this matter to come to an end, and I will find a different muse. I will move on. There are plenty of fish in the sea. I just thought I was under the impression that she was receptive to my advances. She was not.
If you have any specific questions that I haven't already answered, I can answer them, but I trust your ability to judge the situation.
All right, thank you. based on the level of persistence, as you, using your word, Mr. Ionescu, am I pronouncing your last name correctly?
Yeah, pretty good. You're doing a pretty good job. Yeah.
Honestly, I have a pretty high level of concern. I mean, frankly, I hope your family members are there with you, or they're watching on YouTube and they're finding out things that maybe would cause them the same level of concern and can help you with it. Because it's totally inappropriate, and you place Ms. Berglund in a position where she has a high degree of fear based on your inability to let go when she keeps telling you to stop, and you run right through that barrier. Every time she tells you, you say one last time, and then you continue. Anyway, it's highly concerning. It's behavior that we see in folks that end up in much more egregious situations, much more dangerous situations. And I want to make sure that you understand that, and that the behaviors I'm seeing are precursors and with some regularity to really bad events. So let's cut this one off before it becomes worse. I will grant the request for the order you are to have, and it's me telling you, it's not Ms. Berglund telling you in all caps, it's me telling you, you're to have no contact with her whatsoever. You're not to go within 1,000 feet of her home, her workplace. Ms. Berglund, this
May I add
order
an
will be in
additional
effect for 1 year
commentary?
from today's date. If you want it renewed, you can come back to court and ask for it to be renewed. A copy of the order will be available to each of you in the district court file. There does not need to be service since Mr. Ionescu appeared in person today. All right, thank you both.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Welcome.